Hey everybody, how's it going? It is Annette the Peacemaker from YGRL, the Yang Gang Report Live. And, well, we've decided to go live. So, Faye, so let me just introduce who's with me. Faye is the one that put this together tonight. So, I'm going to let her she's going to tell us what we're going to be talking about tonight. So, Faye, the Lone Star Warrior, why don't you tell us what we're going to be talking about, and then you can introduce our guest.
Okay, so tonight we were to work on some shop talk between two podcasters, but we lost one of our podcasters because Fred is not feeling well right now. We'll have to talk with Fred another day. Fred Eder of the Front Porch podcast will join us another time. Today we have, however, still our Zeno from Mindwave Media at mindwave.media. And he actually has the expertise. We want to learn from him today about how to podcast and get the best when you have people coming from multiple different areas. Like, for example, if you're not all in the studio together and have a great, how do you get the best sound out of this? So I'll turn it over to you.
Hello, thank you. Thank you for having me. And I do want to preface this by saying I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination. I have experience in the domain, and I will tell you what I've found works really well most of the time. So I don't know if we want to, are we talking equipment or platforms, or where do we want to go in terms of, I guess, ask me anything about this process.
Absolutely.
And I'll break it down as best I can.
That's like a good way to do it. So we thought that we'd have Fred here to ask you the questions himself, but I'm going to try to ask some of the questions I have first. So I am not actually the backside. I'm just participating in the podcast. So I'm often, I think it's a Yang Game Roundtable podcast, and I know the sound is the worst of the people on the podcast. I've been trying to ameliorate, try to get, so that my presentation can still be functionally, good for everyone. Besides the stuff that I have to say, I want it to be able to be heard. So can you teach me how to be a better participant?
Sure. This is great. The very first one is make sure you're plugged directly into the internet. Don't ever use Wi-Fi. Don't ever use phones. Avoid phones at all costs. They just can't keep up, and you really do want to be plugged directly into your modem or router or whatever with an actual cord. It's going to massively, it's going to keep your connection strengths better.
So I actually need an Ethernet cable. Is that correct? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, by Ethernet. I think that having a direct line connection to the machine, whatever machine you have, will massively improve. And that everybody out there, please do this immediately. I am very much like, yes, have a nice microphone, have headphones, be able to hear yourself while you're talking. That's crucial. Plugging in is crucial, and having a computer, not doing the mobile thing, avoiding that, because that's largely what causes most of the issues that people have, connection issues and sound issues and stuff, is mostly just connection.
And so that's something that I want to try to do, a regular participation session where it, like in the roundtable podcast. The main challenge for a lot of people might be just finances. Like for me, it's difficult to do all the equipment. I probably need a new laptop because my laptop has jiggly connections for the for the USB ports. It's so old that the ports are not doing well when I put the headset. Like sometimes it just again in the middle of me trying to talk, I excited and I move or something, and it just pops right.
I have a
So,
couple
but
of
without
those.
the
They're great.
yeah, without the constraint, then that would be the most direct way to get the best sound.
Oh
Now,
yeah, because
you
most
said you get a
computers and
different mic.
most people's internet connections can keep up, but like Wi-Fi is iffy. It's better just be jacked straight in.
It'd be like twice just to do that alone. You're not paying for a different speed. You haven't changed what you pay for, but you get better speed out of it.
Especially if you're streaming too, because with podcasting, generally they're not live, they're pre-recorded conversations they're private conversations over something else, and they're taken down, mixed and mastered down into audio that is then put out. The extra step, and I'm very careful in my extra step, and I want everybody, I'm on this side, everybody on their own channels, so that if one person isn't loud enough, I can actually just raise them up a little bit. If there's a bad crash in the background or some weird just dead space, you can cut that out. And just that way, if you actually want to put the time into cleaning up the audio in some kind of sound editor, I use Logic Pro. I love Logic Pro. Shout out to Logic Pro. But yes, multi-track thing, having everybody on their own separate audio channel, their own separate waveforms, their own files, is another huge one. And it's really the only one that I've found that does this is Zencastr. And we've had some hiccups with Zencastr, but they've gotten a lot better.
Can we spell that, Pastor?
Zencastr. No E. Zencastr. I like it.
That
and
you
it's
can only do on a laptop. You would not be able to do that on your phone, or can you do that on
correct. For like, this is computer only. That's like number one, desktop. And to get it to sound like, kind of Mindwave sounds a little NPR-y, you can get full studio quality or damn near really close to it. But it takes good mics, good headphones, quiet rooms. Those are all extra steps that when we're going to take this seriously, that, but of course, it's worth pointing out that like literally anybody can do this. And one of the best things about podcasts is the background noise. It's the kids coming in and rushing through, especially if you have a good dynamic sound recording environment to where you can actually hear a little pitter patter, like left to right. If somebody's dog comes up and it's like, oh, hey buddy. And you can hear, it's adorable. That's like, those are the things that the little beautiful, colorful moments of life and the flaws and everything. And so that you keep it all in and it's just loose and open. And that's one of the best things about it. But the best way to do it that I've found is that way. It's with a decent mic. This is a vocal mic, and decent headphones, and a good computer that's plugged in, and a good platform.
So you said you had some recommendations about phones. So.
Oh, these are freaking awesome. Okay, I feel weird doing this because I very much like my own show. Our ethic is fuck the ads. We don't run ads. We don't run ads, but Jameson whiskey's delicious. And it's the apocalypse, so I'm not even... it's the apocalypse. I'm not even fucking with the glass. These bottles are small enough. They're adorable. But, these are the Behringer...
All right. Is that for me?
Oh. Oh, goodness. Okay, so I'm not going to be able to hear you. But I'm going to show you my headphones. These are the Behringer HPS 3000s. These are studio headphones. They are very comfy. They are durable as fuck. They outperform pairs of Pioneers and Bose and every pair of DJ headphones I've ever had. They outperform all of them. The lows are crazy low that like rip, like it feels like it's going through your chest into your spinal cord low. And then the highs are all these fucking amazing, very crisp, super dynamic. $20. And they're freaking indestructible. I've had these for like 7 years. $20 on Amazon. Behringer. Oh man, Behringer cannot get enough free plugs on my show because I freaking love these things. I've bought like 10 pairs of them now, and I send them to people, to friends and family.
But that one is just the headphone. There's a mic component to it now, and then you need a separate mic.
I'm trying to find a good entry level mic that is plug and play that anybody can use. I'm using like a Behringer B2 Pro, poppy without the filter. But this is a very expensive mic as far as I'm concerned. I dropped I think 180 on this, and then I have to have a separate audio interface to run this through like XLR cables, and it's like it's a thing. This is not for everybody. But I just need this for other stuff, so it makes sense to use it. So I'm trying to find a good entry level mic that's USB that doesn't require any mixers or amps or any weird shit, and that people can just plug right in. And I'm about to experiment with the Behringer C1U, which is a USB mic that you can get for $58 to $60. It's a cardioid condenser like this one, large diaphragm. Gold sputtered to get nerdy cardioid condenser mic. Keep in mind, these do pick up everything. You will be able to hear the dog snoring in the next room with the doors closed, but that's how you also get the full it is and some of them have switches to where you can make it more omnidirectional, just coming right here. But I love that because I, as you can hear, have one of those voices, and you need the full waveform. When it gets crunched down, it sounds like somebody's on a phone. I'm like, no, you need the full thing.
So while I'm streaming, right, I'm first of all doing like every single thing wrong. I'm on the phone because I gave my laptop to my son to play, so that keeps him quiet. And then I've got this on. So I've got Zephyr's computers on right now, right? And so he's the whole time I'm talking, and the phone is trying to filter that out. I don't even know if I'm doing a good job. So
you're literally the only person who I've ever streamed or podcast with that does that dumps themselves out audio wise, which as an editor, somebody who's like, love you, thank you. That's like, oh my God, that's great. I'm not even mastering this audio, but as somebody who would do that work, would I too do that? Oh gosh, it's kind of like in Japan, everybody just takes their shoes off at the front door. It's kind of like one of those things. Like, God, wouldn't everybody do that? Like, wipe the toilet seat down when you're done. It's kind of like, God, because I do like tons of that shit. And I look around and I see most humans, and I'm like, oh man, oh. So that's very considerate of you. Where were we going?
So me and Annette just picked up. I saw that me and Annette, my video and Annette's video are kind of grainy. Jenner is very clear, and that could be because he has his Ethernet cable plugged in. Don't.
I have a bajillion. Like if you guys are hard up for cash, I'm one of these nerds. Okay, and this is great. I'm one of these nerds that saves every plug, and I'm totally dad aged, but I don't have kids. But I'm like totally one of those dads that like, I have a cord for that. I have a extension for that. I have a weird pluggy doodad for that, and every piece of this is really cool. every single piece of electronics that I've ever owned or come across that was broken and didn't work anymore, rather than throw it in the trash or try to find a way to recycle it, I take it apart and then I just get rid of all the plastic bits and all the other things, and the big beautiful motherboard pieces and the drives and the laser disc and like all the components, the insides of the electronics that people don't get to see. They're fucking beautiful. So I just have like boxes and boxes and boxes of these fucking things that I'm going to make into a big art project with LEDs. It's going to be sick. I don't know why I'm bringing that up. Just like, I'm that kind of nerd. I probably have like 43 Ethernet cables. If you really need one, I will send you one.
Wow. I could probably use now because I finally connect my PlayStation to the I had to connect my PlayStation 2 so that I could try to play this Final Fantasy game, and then it turned out they no longer even support that game, so it's not online anymore. That made me super sad. So you could play it on the PC. They still have a little bit, but not on the PlayStation 2. So I do have one cable now, and the main thing now is just to get my son off the computer, which is very tough. So still see me doing a little bit of this on our YBL because we have this live stream thing and we're pretty about it, but I think that it might be assaulting the audience because they can't see me and then they can't hear me.
You guys, can I point something out? Cool. Because like I don't like doing the like support pitches because it feels very shady. It's shitty and kind of like slimy. But at the same time, it's like, well, we don't do the other shit. We're not doing ads or whatever. We want this to be you powered. We want the content to be you powered. And like, bitch, we're going to be like Ellen or Oprah and shit. We're going to be like sending people shit. So like, how cool would it be if like the funds were coming in enough for us to be like, hey, we're going to buy Zephyr and iPad mini. There you go. Like that is something Mindwave wants to do. That is part of like how nerdy and rad I want this show to be. We're going to be like freaking Ellen and Oprah. Everyone look on your chair.
Right.
You all got a microphone. You know what I mean? Like
it was cool because what we have not been doing a good job of actually asking people for support financially. But Annette actually took some of her own money today and started some up to her own setup. Do you want to tell us about your new setup, Annette, while we're at that?
Sure. So I've already been using StreamYard's free version for quite a while, and it's okay, but you don't get unlimited broadcasting. So if you've seen us go live recently, and you see me start getting a little sketchy around 2 hours, and like 2 hours is a long podcast broadcast anyway. But I was limited to 20 hours a week. So, or a month rather, 20 hours a month. And so I just got paid, and I know that the glitchy, blurry stuff has been an issue lately. And so my husband upgraded our computer, or not our computer, upgraded our Wi-Fi service today. So now we have like the top-notch Wi-Fi service available in our area. And
plug that computer directly into that box, and then you will be good. I'm telling you.
Into this black box here, the computer box.
That's right. That's what he's telling us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Plug your computer into the internet box. Yeah. Watch
using
it.
the Ethernet cable. Ethernet cable.
Watch it come through like like crystal clear. It's a magic one, man.
I don't even know.
So
I don't even know how to do that.
We also have, so I actually put some money down on finding a stronger, like a faster connection. But this cable may help you even more than that.
Right. Well, yeah. Ray's going to have to come and do those things for me. So for right now, we're just going to have to suck it up and deal with it because I don't know how to do it. Ray is he's my tech dude, my husband, Ray.
I'm going to go
So
pull off my thing and show it to you right now. Here I go.
So you have your computer that you have a laptop. You're on a laptop?
No, I'm on a desktop.
Okay, so you're okay. Okay. So you're on a desktop. And then the internet box, like from who do you have, Cox or Cable One or whatever the box is?
Viasat. It's called Viasat.
Viasat. Oh, do you have satellite
Linksys.
internet? Link. Oh. Okay, so it's a brand.
Linksys, I think, is what we
Okay,
might have.
so
I don't
it's
even
probably-
know, dude.
We're going to take
internet
a trip over here.
Basic router.
Okay, here we go. My router, see? And on the back, it's these phone line looking things. And one of these two things are the Ethernet cable, or the Ethernet input. And it looks kind of like a phone plug. It's a little bit thicker and a little bit fatter. See how it looks just like a phone plug, kind of? So you would need one of these cables. Yeah, and then you just find the two that match up, one on your computer and one on the, and we'll get that done.
Oh, that's already done. Because our
okay.
router is all the way over in the kitchen.
Zephyr.
And then we have a picture there. And then Ray has this long ass cable that goes through the kitchen, through the laundry room, along the corner of my office room here, and then down the wall. He has staple gunned it all the way, so it's nice
man,
and
so
neat.
Ray is on it. Ray knew. Ray knew. I should have known that. Ray would know. Of course, he's like,
It's a thick,
of course.
it's a thick white cord, and then there's a whole bunch of it, and it's all wrapped up in a little Velcro thingy.
Oh, good. Okay, so you're already good in that domain.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
to
just
get this good to where, and as a viewer, I don't know what this is coming through, but I can see and hear myself in full whatever. To get this is like I cashed out my retirement to buy this machine. I have a brand new MacBook Pro. So this is probably out of most people's budget. In terms of like everyday shit, most people, I was even like, ew. Oh man, it's like I'm one of those people. I have never had. I've only had like a comma in my bank account like once, but like when my retirement, when I cashed it out and it hit, that never before have I felt that whole. It was like $6,000 or something, and I spent like 4 of it on this computer. So it's my power horse for the next freaking hopefully 10 years, because damn. But yeah, the computer is also a big part of it, in terms of like to get the best of the best. Like Macs are really kind of where it's at, and you can get like good cheap MacBooks. No, well, cheap for Macs if you don't want to go pro. The MacBooks, Mac Minis. Mac Mini will replace your current desktop. So that's kind of like entry level thing. It's a box. I don't know what shape or size it is today, but because they've changed. But it's a little bitty baby boy, and then you just like plug your keyboard and your mouse and a monitor into it, and boom, it's a full Mac. If you're really doing video and audio stuff, you need to be on a Mac. And I'm a longtime PC boy. That's my other little bit of expertise. If you're doing AV work of any kind, you really need to be on a Mac. If you're taking it seriously and like, okay, that's how the Mindwave universe looks like a freaking Hollywood trailer. That's like, it's like, because I spent the money. I spent money that I didn't have to get it that good. So most people are not going to be able to just like jump into that level right away. But there are little steps that you can take. There are little, really cheap, really basic steps that you can take to massively improve. And if you're on a PC, like there are free versions of stuff that like Audacity is. I haven't used it in probably 15 years, but Audacity is a great Windows sound editor. So if you were to subscribe to something like Zencaster, which is $20 a month, I forget how much. Then you get those files. You just download the files. You drag and drop them into a sound editor. You can see the whole thing. You can see all the little wave files. And if you're like, oh, well, let's cut out that part at the beginning, there's like, pretty relatively easy ways to do that. Sound editing is a really fun kind of thing to get into, cutting and splicing and snipping and dragging and adding effects and all that. Like I bet that I'm in love with it as an art. I've been doing it for a really long time. But like really basic stuff is you'd be surprised how easy and how entry level, how low the bar actually is. I make it sound like it's a lot higher than it is. Like with I guess.
Well,
I
Jenner,
don't know.
the idea was maybe you could show us a little bit of what's happening on your computer screen if you would do a screen share with us and some of the programs that you use and the kinds of things you do that we don't know about.
That's cute. God, Faye, that's adorable. Let's do it.
And I love your bell. I think that's like the iconic mind wave bell that everybody gets excited when we're.
It's got to happen. And no, I don't have any naughty bits on here, so don't worry, kids. Can you see my desktop?
I can.
It's looking good.
Okay.
See it.
Oh, you guys can actually get a sneak peek at our new production sequence. I haven't added sound or anything to it yet, and even if I did, you wouldn't be able to hear it. I don't think that can stream. But I got this really cool bit from NASA, this 3D representation of a black hole to put behind the mind wave thing, and then zoom, fly right through it, which I thought was fucking spectacular. And I used this program. It's called Motion. It's delicious. Okay, we can hide that.
So for those of you who have joined in on the Mindwave podcast before, there are literally interviews of almost all, I think it's all of us that are on the Yang Gang Report have at some point done a interview with Jenner at this point. And Jenner has this gift for talking to us about exactly who we are. And it's not about, necessarily our activities with Yang Gang, but we always back to that because we are Yang Gang. But it's more about who we are as people. And so if you're interested or curious about David, or I think Burke has one too. Is that true? Mikey, I think all of us at this, and I have one also now. So we're all represented there. So you can go and find out more about us and about other people that we know, like Fred Ramey, and who are all other famous people already had in there.
Scott Santons is a big one.
Scott Santons, that's a big one.
That's a big one.
Superstar for us.
I just had some awesome Arizona bros. Brendan Carpenter, Kyle Hendon.
One of
Humanity
our favorite people,
Forward.
Jareen.
Oh my gosh, Jareen. Freaking awesome.
What about our dancer?
Speaking of Brendan Carpenter, you guys, I have a watch party going on my personal timeline, and he's in there right now. And he says, love you, team. I appreciate the recommendations. I could use something a little extra, especially for video editing. So does anybody have any advice? I don't know how to do those.
I don't have my external plugged in right now, so I don't have access to my stock library. I'm putting something stupid to show you how easy it is to get this.
So Brendan Carpenter is one of our ROs, right? That's in part of that interim board that's leading the humanity. He's leading the Slack over there. It's still called Yang 2020, the Yang 2020 Slack right now. And a lot of good stuff is happening there. They're really trying to listen to people who have not been heard yet. If you want to get into Slack and you want to some information, start talking up to the leadership. That's a good place to do it. And they're also a lot of Zoom calls. So they're interested in how to get the best sound while everybody, trying to have all of these conferences together.
That is correct. So I'm in Arizona Yang Gang leadership group with Brendan and other people from Arizona. And I'm not as active there because I'm actually super active here. So, but like they let me stay in and I read, I follow along, I read everything. I just don't always. But they've been doing Zoom meetings, and they even had like a little election, like to nominate or elect leaders into leadership roles and stuff. It was pretty cool. And so they are very active, and I'm really proud to be part of the group, even though I am not as active as I would like to be.
So what are you doing?
Brendan.
What are you doing now, Jenner?
I am messing around, but that is one of the things for me too, is like I can't be involved in literally anything else because my own thing is taking too much. So that's like one of those, like, I don't have, even tonight to get a little bit to sit down with you guys, I'm like, oh man, this really is like a full-time job just doing the Mindwave thing. So I just put this together real quick. Pretty. What's up?
So what we wanted to see was, how do you work with the different teams using Zencastr and things like that?
Yeah, so that was just a silly thing to show you what Max can do in like 3 minutes. Here I have a basic sound editor. I have a MIDI track that I was working on earlier. But this will illuminate plenty. Come over here into Chrome. Whoa, infinite screens. Come over to Zencastr.
Can you do video on Zencastr?
Nope. No, this is audio only, audio. And it's that way for a reason, because you get 44.1 kilohertz wave recordings, high definition, very cute, very nice audio. So I'll actually pop in here. You can see what one of these looks like. I'll open the Humanity Forward conversation, the very first episode of Humanity Forward 1. And you guys, we're going to have to do something epic because we're on the season finale of Humanity First on Mindwave, the one that you were both on. Annette, you were 2. Faye, you were 19.
Yeah, I just saw my name there.
What the hell?
You just now saw your name there? That's great.
Okay, so this is, you can even see me coming through. You can see my waveform here coming through on my own channel. So if I had somebody else in the room, or these are all separate recordings. So the first part of the conversation was 1 hour and 6, whatever. Each, my end, Brendan's end, and Kyle's end, you get a high quality audio file. You can drag that into your whatever. The purple ones, these are all MP3s. Those download really, really, really quick. Those are like sample sized. They still come through good, like CD quality, but you don't get that full thing really with the purple ones. But once you have the files, pop open. Oh, geez. I'm very disorganized. I've gotten better. Okay, here's my conversation with Faye. I haven't archived these yet, so it looks like I have. And Macs are great because you can color code. Like these are green, so these are done. But I'll drag them in here just for the sake of seeing, showing you guys. I like to place them on new tracks every single time, just so that they always show up right. Now, I used 2 halves of the conversation, so you can see these are 1 and these are 2. So this would actually go, stretch it over there, and I would actually just bring that up on the same channel. And if you look, yes, Faye recording. Wait, which one is this? Mindwave Podcast. Yes, Mindwave Podcast. Top line's the same. Those are the same. Just get rid of those extra channels. So we have from start to finish the entire thing. And if something, you can cut whatever out. And like I'll show you for the podcast, I have the music pre-made, the theme for the show. So I drag that in.
So when you say, Jenner, that everyone who's really serious about podcasts would be on an Apple, or serious about doing stuff with sound and creative,
really?
Is that because
it sounds snobby? It sounds snobby, but it's so true.
But the reason is because there are certain programs you can't use. You can only use on an Apple. It's proprietary programs, or what is the reason?
It's really about what I just did just now. Because to do that on a PC would take a crazy amount of and especially the software that exists for PC. You have to it's like studying a car repair manual. It's ridiculous, and it's ridiculous on purpose. The main reason that I say Apple is because you get an extremely high quality for the price you pay, but it also comes with ridiculous ease of use. And right out of the box, every Mac is ready to go with GarageBand, which will give you the basics of sound editing. I use Logic Pro 10, which is the big boy version, the hundreds of dollars a version that you can, the professional version of this, but it's literally the same. Oh my gosh, I haven't been in here since 2014. So really, really, really basic sound editor. You can see all these green ones up here. These are all music instrument tracks, pianos, and strings.
This is a program that comes with Apple computers in the Mac Pros.
Every Mac comes with GarageBand. All right. Correct. So this is the free version that comes on every single Mac. I haven't used it in a long time, but that's adorable. But it's the same thing. It is drag and drop. If you want something to be shorter, you just grab it and make it shorter. Or if you want to cut it, you put it and then cut it. If you want to delete something, you just delete it. It's just like backspace. It's just it's the ease of use factor, and then being able to undo. You can make a million steps and then undo those million steps. You can Control Z, as it were, which is Command Z on a Mac. You can do that back to the very, very beginning, so you can make a bajillion edits to a project. So even if you go oops, it's and GarageBand's freaking great. Out of the box, every Mac can do the basics of everything, and then there's Final Cut Pro, which is what I use for the big time video editing. Motion is very cool for creating oh geez, come on, shit like this, which is not as hard as it looks. I used stuff from NASA Scientific Visualization Studio and from a free template. It was literally that simple. And then Final Cut is more a full video editor, so you can see this is a project I had the other day, which is a music project, and I dropped in some storm footage here. And then some underwater scuba diving footage, and then I just changed the transparency, so you get this really trippy effect just with the really, really basic drag and drop stuff. And like dropping in stock footage. People see my stuff like, what? And I'm like, you have no idea. Like, it's a lot more work goes into it than you'd think, but like that in terms of quality, like where the quality comes from, that part's not me. The quality comes from
You're saying that the software that you're able to use is like a lot. It just makes it so easy for you to do it.
Oh, it's still a long process. Don't get me wrong. Like I had a video project. Where we at? I'll scroll through this real quick and show you guys. You can't hear music coming from my end, can you? So this is a video project.
I don't, but Annette is able to get that done. How do you do that, Annette? How do you get the sounds to come out?
I don't think it's a whole thing. So this is a video project that I put together for a preacher. Very cool video, just using kind of lots of these stock things and effects. A lot. I actually used a bunch. Some like real spaceship satellite data. So like it's amazing what you can do just like on a Mac, just drag and drop. This project that took a good 18 hours, because this is like about the power of crying. Basically.
So what I'm
crying out to
interested
God in
in,
moments of darkness. It's very heavy.
So what I'm interested in is how you're able to improve on the sound when somebody is being is on terrible equipment like I am, and has less than ideal background noise and all of these things. What do you do to kind of fix up that audio?
You won't be able to hear anything, obviously, if I open... I'll actually open an episode so you can look at what an episode looks like.
Annette, how are you able to share sounds from your computer when you share your screens?
Well, at the bottom of the page, it says share screen. So is that what you're asking? Yeah, so you just click on share screen.
We can also hear this sound. So how do we do that?
So I've got two screens. This one here on the bottom that I'm looking straight at is just a regular monitor. It doesn't have any sound or anything. It's just a plain old desktop monitor. And then I've got my little camera hooked up onto the top of that. It just sort of hooks on there. It's just a little square camera that big. And then my big screen on top is a smart TV. We got a couple smart TVs like on super clearance, super sale. We never pay full price for anything, let me tell you. So it was definitely on sale when we bought it, but I don't remember how much it was. But anyway, I've got that. And then Ray put it up on put a wall mount up over here in this corner. And so my upper screen is movable. So man, I would like to be able to get out of my chair and be able to do things. This table right behind me here is actually a crafting table. And I've got like sewing cardboard down on the top of it, so I can measure things out. And I've been making a bunch of masks out of t-shirts and things like that. So I would like to be able to move my camera around. So like I was thinking about getting like a setup where maybe if I had like a tablet, you can get like a little tripod and it has like a little round, a little circle sort of donut light to illuminate your face properly. And it's got a mic and everything all hooks together all on this little funky tripod. And it's super duper cool. And I have been thinking about something like that so I could just like pick up my thing and go sit outside in my screen gazebo because it's a beautiful day. You know,
I'm looking into having some kind of setup like that I can send out to people as well, which is a streaming kit, because this is something that I did not make clear enough earlier. There needs like, and it might sound pedantic, but like streaming and podcasting are really two completely separate domains. They are their own beasts. They have their own challenges. And I am not a streamer. I am a podcaster. I have done some streaming, and honestly, I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm very much, I love the podcast medium. I'm not a huge fan of this one personally, but.
Well, you have to give up that desire to perfect or to improve upon what's already there.
It's not about perfection. It's just comfort for me. I don't like being on video. I would much rather just like almost even just be able to close my eyes and be with the person here in my head. Because it comes through.
That's why I hide behind his mic too. That's what I think.
If you have headphones like this and mics like these, it sounds like they're sitting right next to you, which is trippy.
That's true.
And which is why even like Annette, you've used these headphones and these mics and been there for that recording experience of hearing your own self in full studio quality in your own earballs.
It's rare that Yang Gang can actually get together in the same room and do something together because we often are far from each other. And Annette has actually come out to your studio.
Not this one.
Jenner was my very first. Jenner and Joshua Starkey were my very first IRL Yang Gang experience. So my daughter and I traveled up Bisbee. It was only a couple hours drive. It was a nice drive. Hey, Zephyr. It was a nice drive and whatever. And so we went up there and just stayed overnight and we had a blast. It was so fun. And yeah, so it was actually really cool. I mean, they have like a mixing board and I mean, I think that he's being really humble with things, but good night, sweetheart. We'll see you later, buddy. Mwah.
Okay. Good night.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night, sweetie. I'll be up later, okay?
So, like, I think you're being really humble, saying that that you're not like a pro. Like that was so super professional looking.
I'm not a pro. I just have high standards. As I sit next to my fully weighted 88.
Well, I think knowing what you want it to turn out, knowing how you want it to sound when it's done is already like having a vision. Some of us don't bother.
I'm much more.
It's all about the sound for me. It's always been about the sound.
For me, I'm just much more comfortable just like talking. Just sit here and talk and just roll with it. And we tend to have an idea in mind. You know, we've got a topic of discussion and we try really hard to kind of stay on task. But if it organically moves to another topic of conversation, then that's okay too. You know, so I don't know what happened, but I think Jenner was going to show us how he kind of improves the sound after he collects it when it's not a really great
when it fucks up really bad. I found one. I found a project for when it fucked up really bad. So this is actually just two separate tracks. You guys can see my screen, right?
Oh, hold on.
You're sharing screen for some reason. Okay, here we go.
No, infinite regression. I love it.
50 phases.
These are two separate things. Here's mine up here, and Chandler's down here. And when it gets messed up really bad, I actually have to cut each and move, cut and slide and but so it's like blah 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 blah. Yes, here's blah, blah. Oh, so going like and manually like when it desynchronizes, which is really shitty. This happens every once in a while. Or it used to. It hasn't happened in a really long time. But I will open that's just a beautiful example of how fucking awful it is when that happens. But let me here. I'll come and open I'll open Faye's episode. Did I put Spacey Club? What? Oh, the disclaimer. The disclaimer at the beginning with club music. How much did Jenner have to drink? Enough. It was enough. It wasn't too much, but it was enough. Where the hell?
I was mentioning that like all these late night comedy hosts are now doing their own, doing their podcast, doing it from home, and they have set up everything at home like we're doing.
Oh yeah, like
and,
my studio
it's pretty funny.
Has a bar.
Right, and they're still drinking, and they have no guests to drink with. They just have the drink. So you're like, yeah, very
so, I'm gonna expand this up a little bit so you can see. The beginning part is this silly thing that. Wait, can you hear this?
No.
Could you guys hear that?
No, that's why I was asking Annette, how is it we can hear her? But I think the answer
only
is she actually
through certain things.
I think
So
she
you're
actually
hearing it
were able
coming
to
off
hear
like
hers because she's actually recording it off of the TV. So she's recording it with a second screen that she has.
Oh. Hold on.
Here, let me try this. Let me try one thing and let's see if this works. Let me put the StreamYard up above. I can move it over up here. All right, now try playing something and see if it works.
I don't think it's on your end. I think it's in Max security something.
All right.
Screen recording. Allow apps to record the contents of your screen. It's somewhere in there. It's somewhere in. Yeah, Macs are very hardcore in the settings, so it won't let you. It won't share computer audio. But this is my intro here, which you can see there's a little clip, and then it goes straight into the theme song. And then I dropped in my end and your end, Faye. I cut out some of the dead space, as I like to do, which is very easy. On a Mac, you just go up to a spot, highlight, Command T to trim it. You can be like, I want to take out about that, and then you can come in here and drag and make it shorter or longer if you need to, and zoom all the way and get down all the way down, whatever, to cut and splice as you need. Thankfully, I don't have to cut and splice a whole lot. But if there's long periods of dead space like this, a lot of times, unless it's a long fade, like this is from the theme song. So there's actually a really long fade there on purpose because there's an effect there at the end of the theme song, and it acts as a nice little kind of just like fades into the background thing. Puts a very nice, easy transition. And then for multiple clips, sometimes I will do, because ours was 2 parts, I believe. So I added just a little effect here in between the 2 parts. Hey, we'll be right back. Here's the thing that I made for this, and then it comes right back to it. And so it's a lot of drag and drop and clipping, and then, at the end of it, drop in some theme music. But each channel here, you can even see, if I come on to one of these channels, you'll see that the levels are changing. So if one person's channel is coming in a little bit too hot, you can turn them down. Obviously, volume works both ways. But you can even take it into a full equalizer, which, why is that not coming through? I need to be in the right one. Yes, EQ. Here we go. So you can actually see the waveform where it's at on an equalizer. And you're like, okay, well, let's bring it up a little bit back here. And there's some really, really high-pitched shit up here, so let's turn that down a little bit. And we want it to be a little kind of like that shape. I end up going with something approximating this shape a lot because I like that really boomy bass down at the bottom end, and in the middle, you kind of want to even out a little bit, maybe have some sand duny type things, and then sometimes you can, are certain projects where you're going to want to utilize high, on the high end, but this is a tool that I would use to equalize, somebody's audio. Do we have anybody saved in here?
So
Oh, no.
As you're doing that, you would be able to hear it on your computer, your headset.
Oh yes, and this is something, I don't have them saved on the new machine, but on the old machine, we would make a form like this for everybody's voice to match their voice, and have this equalizer come on, because everybody's voice is different, to get them to come through. Oh, look at that. This isn't coming through on StreamYard, but you can see what I mean. You can play and manipulate with the audio to make a profile for everybody's voice, and then you just save it, and you save it as that person's voice. So next time that person comes on the show, you just equalize it. If they're going on the same computer, and you're like, okay, load so and so. And it's great. On the old machine, I had one for the voicemails, because the voicemail needed to be voicemail line to get the videos to sound right. I needed to put that through filter, so that was pre-saved. Lots of presets and saved shit. I don't know if this is way too long, but yes, this is the guts of what I do.
Well, how do you take, for example, we're going to have a YouTube video of this particular live stream. Are you able to take the audio out of a video stream like that?
If I have the file, yeah. If I have a video file, I can drag that into Logic Pro just like anything else and extract out the audio from it.
Wow, that's pretty cool. And can you with the free program, or you need to buy the Logic?
You can. I'm pretty sure you can do that with GarageBand. Let's check. And Logic Pro is, I think, about like a $250 upgrade or something in that range. Which, if you're spending that much on a computer anyway, let's see.
So my way of dealing with conference calls and live, like any sort of live things where people are listening to me, as if I was, on my phone basically now, is I turn my audio off to avoid having background noise, right? And other people are talking. And that's pretty much all I know how to do. And I'm wondering if it affects the sound, like also when I keep turning it off, the phone doesn't adapt to my voice right away. It's like it has to refigure out again if I turn it back on.
No, I can't hear it when any transition between it going on and off. Yeah, you can drop video files into GarageBand, which is the free version.
Well, so that's really cool that you can get a lot of that functionality from a free program already on the Macs. Cool.
Oh yeah, you get all of the functionality. It's just if you want like professional, then like Final Cut and Logic and Motion, these three programs here. This is my powerhouse. Logic Pro is for all the audio and all the sequencing. Final Cut is, for all the video editing, and Motion I can do a lot of really cool 3D motion graphics in there. ScreenFlow is another one that I tend to use a lot, which allows you, this is premium software, but allows you to record your desktop, or, from your camera, and from, select your audio source. I want it to come through my real mic, and also record the computer audio. So this is extremely helpful because it creates its own thing. And I'm going to need to shut Leia up in a minute. But this is now recording everything on my computer as if it were like an HD StreamYard session. And then I can come back into this and play it back. See what I mean?
Are you talking
That is
dog? You said
Yeah,
to
the
have the
Yeah, Leia is shoot, what? Oh. You're not even in your house, bitch. What are you barking at? Baby.
So you said that you've been thinking about trying to get a kit together that you can send somebody that you're about to work with. And when they get it, then, they would have everything or something, a basic setup that you think is really good. What would be in that kit?
Depending on what they need. If they're just trying to get, everybody needs to have a pair of these. They're only $20. They're the best headphones on earth as far as I can. If I'm weighing, oh my God, these are the best headphones. And seriously, guys, Behringer does not pay me. This is not a fucking ad. I don't do that. I don't do sponsorships. That's not what this is. This is a real recommendation.
P.S. Behringer, if you're listening, you should.
Nope. No. Send me some shit. If you want to send me some shit, I'm all about it. Send me some free shit. But no, I will not run ads for you. Or you, Monster Energy drink. Which, oh God, you can't even see. This is my everyday piano, and this is my old piano, but it's under a Monster towel.
Oh, you play the piano.
I do.
I call those keyboards, but okay.
Well, no, that's a keyboard. This is a piano. This is a digital piano.
Okay.
This was another big upgrade. This is a full 88 key, fully weighted. Sounds fucking.
Jenna, I've never heard you play piano. I gotta listen.
I fucking love this thing. It sounds amazing.
That's awesome.
It's not a keyboard. It is a full digital piano because it's sampled from a real piano. Like somebody took the time to be like, okay, this key sounds so like this, and then and get the say like this is made from a real piano, so it sounds like a real piano. It trips me the fuck out. But also is an amazing
My mom got me a
MIDI recorder.
Clavinova long time ago. The very first time, among the very first ones that were ever made. I think I was like in school at the time, so it's like 30 years ago when she got me one of these.
I've played my whole life. That's how I got into this domain. That's how I got into audio in the first place. It's because I this is where I existed here and here, just like no people involved, no microphones, and then it took me a while to find my voice to start singing. That's why I have all these high-end vocal mics, and they are for singing. They're not for podcasting, which is why I'm trying to find a better entry-level thing. Oh, tying it back to the beginning. Oh, fuck, we found the thread. Oh, we did it. Faye, you're awesome. Finding good entry level things if you were going to get a Mindwave Studio kit. Because initially the plan was to have like a big hardcore case with like locks, like a crazy combination lock, or like even like some like special like cool like screen on it, like to where we'd ship you a package and you'd open it and freaking like fog would come out with LED lights and you'd be like, oh. But we've shifted a little bit because the original idea was like, hey, we're gonna make this mobile kit that has everything in it, and then we're just gonna send that to you, and then when you're done with it, we'll give you the money to send it to whoever else, and then they'll send it to whoever else. I think we're going more towards like, no, we're just gonna buy it for you, and then you can keep it forever. So we're trying to find better things on. A better thing, but it depends. Like for the person, if they're going to be streaming, there is a kit that I'm looking at that's an all-in-one 1080p streaming camera with a microphone on top facing the thing, so you get audio and video. And it's you can put it on a gimbal or a mount, and then you just move it around. If you're one of these YouTubers, you can be like, "Hey guys, oh hey guys," just like do something analogous to that. Or if you're doing craft work or something, you can have it set up on a tripod in front of you, but then you can also like bring it in and go down like on your craft to like whatever you're doing. So I have a kit like that that is going to be one of the Mindwave kits, if you will. For our streamers, and then the podcasting kit is definitely gonna include a pair of these, and it's probably gonna include a USB mic of some kind, something that is very, very easy for anybody to get their hands on and plug into anything, and it's gonna work. It's just gonna work. You're not gonna have to go through a whole bunch of bullshit. You don't need to go through extra things and be like one of those old-timey operators, like trying to make a phone call. We want it very easy. So a basic USB mic. Right now I'm leaning towards a Behringer C1U because everything else is Behringer. I recently purchased one, so I need to see how it performs before I make that my default recommendation. If you are out there in the universe, I am not a fucking expert. I said that at the beginning of this conversation. I'm not an expert. If you're out there and you know of a better USB mic than the Behringer C1U, please let me know. I don't have experience in USB mics, but for podcasters, especially if you're just getting off the ground, you want a USB mic. And Jenner, recommend cardioid condensers as opposed to dynamic mics. It's my personal
I have no
preference.
idea what you're talking about when you say that. Do you want to tell us?
They're just different kinds of mics. I've worked with both. This is a large diaphragm. I'll actually pull this. Pull the.
I was just gonna say I've got some of those. You were just talking before. Hold on. About the little YouTuber
kits. Yeah, something like that.
Little kits.
Oh, so yes. That's something that you can like hook up to a tablet or something? No, I'm talking about like a full camera, full
So not like that.
No. I'm talking like the kits, the video kits.
What is that? Is
I'm
that
gonna
a
send out
tripod and a selfie stick kind of?
So this, okay, hold on, let me go back to it.
Is that kind of
this is what
selfie stick?
Right. See, so it's got a little light right here, and the tripod that you set up on your desk, and then you fit your phone in there, and then it's got a little mic right here. It's only $45.99 on eBay. So these are really good, like super easy, like super starter kits if you're just doing it on your phone.
Yeah, it looks like something you would put on your phone. is different than
Yeah.
what we're talking about.
I would not recommend investing any money in this if your plan is to do it on the phone.
Okay.
Point blank. Don't invest any money in it unless you're doing it on some kind of computer setup. Fuck, I had something here because I bought Jareen a mic and I bought her this one.
I remember her talking about that.
I'm not
So I was
sharing my
a
screen.
tripod selfie stick by one of our great political operatives down here in Houston, and it's been really great for me. It's just these conversations because I can keep it at the right distance when I'm walking around the house, and I can still talk to you. So I just moved to the kitchen, and now I'm making my vitamin C drink, and I'm to you.
How else can I search this to get what you're talking about, Jenner?
I'm looking for it right now.
So while we're in a little bit of dead space and searching stuff, I wanted to talk to people about different ways that you can participate in these conference calls that are now basically running every type of meeting that you see in person. I mean, we may be doing this for we may be doing a giant Zoom call for the Democratic convention at the state level, and then pretty soon at the national level. So people are training up on these technologies right now. And if you have any questions of that, go ahead and, put them in the comments, and Annette will bring them up and we can talk about them. So for example, I really like Zoom because you can raise your hand electronically and have everybody else muted at the same time. So
I do like that. So, did you go back to my screen in it?
Yep.
So looking at the screen, this is a Behringer C1U. The at the bottom of this bit, it is a USB port on the bottom of it. This will plug into any computer. And this is, if you can still see me, this is the first mic that I bought with Studio Stargazer forever ago. This is the one that Josh uses now, and you can see it's a large diaphragm cardioid condenser. This is an XLR connections. This is the Behringer B1. This is the one that Josh uses now as the co-host. I have the B2 Pro, which is an upgradey version of that. And this is the C1U, which is $58.99 with free shipping. And it plugs into any fucking USB port. Now, that being said, it is the apocalypse and Amazon is taking forever. So if you want one of these right now, you might have to wait a minute. This is the one that I bought Jareen just because I didn't even think about Behringer, but she seems to sound good on this one. But Annette, this is the thing that I was talking about, which is a full camcorder, but also has you're going to get good audio up top. And it's also an infrared camera. It's a great camera that records in HD, but it's also designed for vloggers, like YouTube-y, vloggy people. So it's like meant for recording that kind of content. In terms of live streaming, yeah, I'm like 99% sure. If you plugged this thing into your computer, you'd be able to but that's $120. But this is like the best off the ground kind of kit that I've found. For if you're like trying to be a YouTube-y person. Again, I don't know if this, because this is camcorder. This is video capture. I don't know. This is playback. I don't know about streaming. Again, yeah, I'm gonna have to do more research because that's not my domain at all, you guys. Like, I am audio boy
Well, that's all right.
100%. So
You're not required to
in my-
know everything
and I'm not even-
that we
I'm
have
not
a
even-
question about.
yeah, I'm not even like anything particularly special in the audio domain. I just have very high standards for my own self, and I guess that's reflected in the rest of everything else. But it sounds douchey and pretentious when I say it like that. But you were like, yeah, you're the expert. And I'm like, no, I'm not an expert. No, I just, I'm an audio
But
boy.
honestly, we need more people who are willing to become teachers because we don't, the rest of us have even less experience. And so we might learn something from you. And then maybe some of the students may eventually overtake the teacher and then become the teacher one day. But right now, you know, it's helpful to have somebody get you started and you don't feel as terrified, you know, how will I ever, you know, learn how to live something, or how will I ever get into this? But I know a lot of people are looking into this now because you're stuck at home and all of your work now has to go on special social media platforms, and we're all learning a lot at the same time. And so, you know, it's like if you have a little bit of experience and I have none, that makes you my expert. I'm ready to listen, you know.
I dig it. For most people out there, if you're millennial, older than a millennial, let's put it that way, and you're having technology concerns about like have a question about something, ask. Most millennials can figure it out. But the crazy shit now is because the latest technology, I am finding myself asking 10, 12-year-olds how shit works. And this is nuts now, because if you go watch YouTube, like YouTube tutorials, well, there is a YouTube tutorial. It's a horrible. It's a what's that called? No, it's not automata. There's a word for that. Is it? It's not onomatopoeia. No, it's not onomatopoeia. It's another. It's just another. Fuck.
Well, it's not a tautology. That much I know.
No. It's another weird word like that. I'm not a word nerd. I like words though. YouTube tutorials. A lot of them for like the most high tech shit now are kids. They're literal kids. They're like, hi, I'm 10 years old. I'm going to teach you how to do something super complicated and convoluted. And I'm like, what?
Well, that's what I learned
can't
from
keep
playing
up.
games.
It's crazy. Oh, man.
Yeah, I learned from playing games with my kids that if you put children and adults in an equal arena where they can be kind of balanced out because of technology or, you know, the whatever, you know, so that their tiny little bodies is not, you know, trying to compete with the older person, then they will show you up. You know, they will they know how to do stuff, and you gain a respect for children. You don't think, you know, you learn about them real fast that way. So
kids have crazy brains. Kids have crazy fucking brains. And part of me is thinking like, oh man, the next generation is going to be fine. But then I'm like, well, wait a minute. What if they just grow up and just like they lose it all too, like everybody else did, and like they're just like dumb like everybody else? So it's like seeing hope in the next generation, because you see the kids now, they're just like brilliant. I'm like, oh God, hang on to that forever. Hang on, don't ever lose that. God, so much of that was beaten out of so much of it us, you know, particularly my generation. And like just before and just after that kind of thing was like beaten out of us. Like it's just like, no, just fall in line, put on the uniform, that kind of thing. So I don't know.
So,
I have hope for the future.
You guys all like this StreamYard for having you know, these conversations that we stream. Now, what about some of the other things that you have used? Do you have any comments about how to choose the best format? How about you, Annette?
I've used Zoom, but I don't like it. I like this one in terms of like if I was going to pay for one, I'd pay for this one.
I am more comfortable with this one. And look, I just noticed that the background changed. I didn't do that on purpose. That looks really cute with the little leaves. there.
You can change backgrounds to anything. You could do a crawler at the bottom. You can like it's a news channel. You can insert 30-second preloaded videos with audio, so you could do like intros and outros and themes and stuff. Like when we were about to launch Mindwave Universe Live like as a thing on this platform specifically with that, and have like heavy effects and graphics and everything and coming and going, and it was in a transitional period. That part of the thing never launched. And now we're hyper focused on kind of separating them a little bit, like the audio shows getting better and more condensed, and then our YouTube channel is becoming its own thing. We're having YouTube series, so we'll have YouTube series and then podcast series, and they're going to play with each other, if you will, but they're going to exist in kind of separate domains, separate lands, if you will.
Right.
But there's going to be lots of back and forth between them. That's just my own personal ethos and how I'm thinking about continuing to make content, because I do want to make video content, but video is not my area. Audio is my area. So that's another thing. But the biggest thing, because we're going to record this whole How to Make a Podcast series, Josh and I, which we are still going to do. And education is super important. And thank you, Faye, for reminding me that hey man, we should probably do this. Because Josh just started a podcast series on this show called Tech Bites. We need to come up with names for it, where he's going to talk about computer nerd shit. But I was like, this is very much along the lines of short educational kind of things. Mindwave has always kind of been an educational mission. It's in a sense, it's like spreading the knowledge. Spreading the word, if we want to be like, oh, I'm Jesus. It's fine, kids. I'm Jesus. I bring the word. I will heal your souls. Children, come to humanity first. Listen to Andrew Yang. Come from the heavens above. Jesus, Lord Jesus. Hey, can you tell I'm drinking? I'm having a great time. Thanks for hanging out with me. But I forgot what I was going to say. And you don't need to keep muting yourself, because I keep saying you're muting yourself when you're laughing, and I'm like, no, I want to hear your laughs. I want to hear your laughs, because it's part of growing as a podcaster was finding my own voice and finding that little, I'm going to tickle you because you're cute.
Well, see, when we did our podcast together, I basically sent Zephyr out to play most of the time. He only came in when it was raining. And then, ours went a little long, so he had to come in eventually. But I'm used to just turning it off, because I never know when an outburst might happen in my land. So I'm basically trying not to hear myself most of the time. If I'm not talking, I just don't want to, interrupt other people with my sounds. So also, I have this super noisy house. I put the air on, and the air is loud. The refrigerator is loud. The laptop is loud, and just put together all those sounds. I'm like, can anybody even hear me? It's very strange. So
yeah, it's a
challenge.
challenge.
Over Zoom. Zoom is good. Zoom is really good for larger meetings. I think you can get up to 200 people in a meeting if. Probably the paid version. I don't know how many you can get for the free version. So StreamYard and Zoom both have free versions where it's somewhat limited, but that's how I started. Today was the first day I ever paid money for my StreamYard. It's so I could have unlimited broadcasting. And I wanted to be able to put our Yang Gang Report logo up in the corner. And then the banners and stuff. Yeah. And I wanted all of that. Yeah.
Another thing, I use my audio thing.
Super cool.
When I use my audio thing, it's also because in StreamYard, we don't hand raising button. right? So I feel like if I'm muted, I don't want to talk. But if I'm doing this, if I'm doing,
No,
I
that's
want
good
to
one.
do something.
That's good. I like it. That's good. Fuck. What was I gonna say? Because we were talking about equipment and getting equipment out to people. And different
So you talked
kits
about the
and
kit that would be good for podcasting and not so much for live streaming. And you're going to think about the live streaming more and come up with a kit for that.
Yeah, because I'm not a streamer. I'm a producer. I'm a
that's all right then.
pre-producer, so I like to collect. I will find the best way to collect stuff and then put it together and post. Like that's my happy place. So even when I record audio out in the world, I have a field recorder that'll get really good sound from just a pocket held device that I can go out. So if I were going to collect video, I would do it that way. I'm really not like the live streaming real time. I say this, it goes out to the universe forever. I don't know. I prefer to have an extra step in there if possible.
Right.
To be able to
really
use my craft, as it were.
Right. Yeah. So when you live stream, you have to kind of have a little different personality or attitude to it, which, hey, anything is it's gonna go, and you're just the show gonna go on, whatever happens. So whoever, runs in right now with his head bleeding, I'm like, okay, I gotta go. But, the show is gonna continue with Annette. So.
Yeah. It's a different beast. It's a different beast, and technologically, you're gonna need different setups. If it's kind of like pick a clan. If I got to take it to like an RPG level, like, are you a podcaster or are you a streamer? If you're a podcaster, let's talk. If you want to be a YouTuber, go talk to Paget Kagi because she's a fucking superstar.
Well, we're more of a Facebooker up to this point.
Yeah.
We're just now barely getting on YouTube now. So
I am struggling with YouTube. I don't know what to do there.
So here's another thing is now we're moving on towards, okay, we've talked a little bit about live streaming, and you guys prefer the StreamYard over the Zoom. But for meetings, we're talking about maybe the Zoom is better, where you're just privately talk, right? So many different ways to do that. You can just we've done that where we just make a Facebook group, like in Messenger, and we turn on the Messenger and talk that way and get the same sort of, 4 people in the room, and everybody can see each other. But the Zoom can get like up to 1,000. They're saying for the Yang Gang, for example, the Yang Slack, they said they could have like 1,000 in the room.
Well, here's an area where I haven't had to deal with this yet because I'm not organizing people on those scales yet. The thing that I actually found for mass coordination, mass collaboration, for my own platform, I'm tying those to Discord channels. Discord is something that gamers use, and it's kind of fallen out of style a little bit from what I'm told. I'm not up on what the kids are doing, but in terms of
actually
support
for Yang Gang,
large, I think Discord's probably where I'm going to go personally.
Yeah. Well, so Yang Gang actually has a lot of people on Discord now because Scott Santons has a math department there, we call it. We've got the Humanity First group. We've got the Humanity Forward group. We've got the UBI Caucus group. Everybody's on Discord that I know of, all the people right now. So you're absolutely right. There's a lot of people on Discord. And we're doing our Yang Gang Roundtable also on a Discord server. And they're collecting the sound from there. Now, have you ever tried collecting the sound from a Discord conversation?
Never. I have never actually used Discord. I set one up for Mindwave with the hopes that I would have the time someday to get in there. It's kind of like I bought Minecraft to go to go to it one day once to go to Corey Cottrell's Church of Reason in Minecraft. I went once, and I have not had time to get back in there since. But it's just like one of those things.
So-
I just don't have the time or the energy to be in that. But it's like that needs to exist for other people, and my inkling is that Discord's gonna be the best way, at least there. I did add something called Flipgrid to the Mindwave universe, which is very cool. It's for it's designed around education, and it's for educators, learners, families, whatever. So actually, let me share my screen. Here we go.
Okay. So I
Oh,
wanted
Annette,
to
can you
say
pop this
that
up? This is really cool.
here's, have you ever used Twitch, Jenner? Because I actually was invited to do one thing, and I thought that was really interesting. And not only that, Twitch and Discord now have something kind of, I don't know, but you can live stream into a video stream like this into Discord also, especially when it's related. So like everything's kind of, intersecting, and I haven't quite figured out how everything works, but I'm trying to learn as quickly as I can so I can participate in all these groups that are trying to get stuff done.
Yeah, that's why I can't keep up with any of the real-time shit. I can't keep up with the real-time shit.
Okay.
Annette, share my screen for a second because I want to tell you guys about Flipgrid real quick, and then we should probably wrap it pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Flipgrid is cool. This is for educators. It is one of these cool little record a short. Hi, teachers use it for homework and shit. But I'll show you on our website how I incorporated this in. Critical error. No, WordPress. Stop being silly. So if you're logged in as a member at the top, you'll see the portal, which is not done yet, into the universe. But there's a Flipgrid here that you can plug yourself into, and it's just like super easy. So I have mine here.
I haven't figured out what Flipgrid is. It's an embedded video.
It's a, so like this here is my intro to what this is, and anybody else coming in would put a little plus. And it's either with Google or Microsoft, and then they just say hi, they'd record their little thing. It's kind of like you get the functionality of like you can put filters and use stickers and emojis and all that things, but it's also there's a views, replies, engagement. It's designed, this specific platform is designed for teachers, as far as I can tell. In terms of like how to like, so coming here to the Mindwave universe is like, it's kind of like doing the teacher thing. Here's, introduce yourself to the class and you'll get a jelly bean, kind of like one of those. And I'm actually using an educator platform to do it. As far as I can tell, Flipgrid is cool. You should check it out.
So I still haven't quite understood what it does. So it gives you like a little talk video itself that just basically introduces yourself to other people.
It's, and then, well, it at least for the Mindwave universe, yes, where like you make it's just a little thing. You record, you say hi, you record your flip, and then it goes on a grid, and then they just scrolls through. So anytime somebody comes in there, they could just scroll through everybody who's in there, or I forget how it works. It's like on a carousel or on a thing, and it's just like everybody's just like, hi, I'm so and so, I'm in wherever. This is. But it was designed with teachers in mind for like their students, and you can use it to like have assignments, I think, and like homework and stuff. So there's like an educator model built into it that I don't fully understand yet. But yeah, it's like I dig it. I want people to do that on the website.
A while back, there was like a while back there was a like a camera that were in the bit. I wonder if it's to that. It's like a flip. My son got one for one of his birthdays. My oldest son. It was a camera, kind of like, you know how the GoPro is a camera that has its own brand and has its own model. There was the one that was basically made for making these little videos, and it was a flip camera or something. It had that word flip in it. So I'm wondering if it's the same company that's gone on to create this other thing.
I just found out about this the other day from actually a teacher who was using it in educational capacities. I'll fucking bring it up.
And you're using it now to connect to your audience. Is what you're doing.
Well, I'm trying to. Nobody's created one yet.
I'm coming in tomorrow or tonight, and I will try to.
It's so hard to get people to sign up for like new things. But yeah, I found out about this through Cafe Lingua, which is a Facebook group just about just exchange of language and culture and ideas. It's kind of a global multilingual kind of everywhere in the world kind of check it out thing. And then there's an educational model built into it. You can give quizzes and like responses and things like video responses to questionnaires, and like it has a whole bunch of functionality, but it's designed as an educational tool. Which again I have to get into, but I need more people on the website to be able to start
and that website is mindwave.media.
Media.
It's not .com, it's .media.
Correct.
Because
we are all yes, and that you have an account. Okay. You both have accounts. Yes. There you go.
Ooh. So Annette is learning to use the new tools you can actually access now that she's a paid member of StreamYard.
That's right. I'm next level, baby. Okay.
Yeah, we're next level, everybody.
All right. So this is Jenner's information. He's Jenner Zeno. And here's his website.
Literally everything's there, guys. Everything's there. It's not perfect yet. The website is held together with bubblegum and scotch tape. It's going to get better. But if you want to help help me hire a 12-year-old to fix it for me. Give me $5 fucking on Patreon. I love you.
All right. So here is Faye's information. Faye Koo on Facebook or on Twitter. She is at Palestine Math.
So I wanted to say something. I want to invite everybody to join this thing I want to do, which is there's a movement now, I think, that to howl at 8 p.m. Go outside and do it. So I love it. I love this idea that we all go. I set my alarm for like 7:54. So I would have like 6 minutes to get outside. And then at 8 o'clock, start, howling.
Oh
like,
my gosh, this is great.
I feel like it's like rattling the cages that we in, but we still live in them, even though we're ill now.
I'm gonna start the fuck out of that. Oh my god, it's here because nobody's doing that here. But we're in the desert. We got coyotes. That's perfect. Right,
you'll just call the coyotes, and maybe one of them will answer you. And for me, it's like I'm doing something that connects me to other humans who are doing it. It makes me feel like it's been actually recommended by, I think, the Colorado governor to his people that everybody can do this. Thank our healthcare givers who are still working, and all the essential workers who are out working. And we can also be for me, it's like I'm trying to remember people who are incarcerated right now and they really don't have any freedom. I'm trying to remember all the people who are suffering right now. It's just like a way to I think it's great exercise and get some air, go outside and do this and connect with people. And I know my neighbors are going to be really wondering what is wrong with them. But
we got to make it go viral. That has to go viral. That's so cool. Cause you see the people in Italy, like going out, like on their fucking like singing on their fucking balconies or whatever, and that's
That's so
adorable.
cool.
Like, but yeah, like we need something in America. I love the wolf howl. Wolf howl at
Yep.
8 p.m. right as the sun's going down. Woo! You get the whole town doing it. Oh my god, that's amazing. That is fucking amazing.
Yeah,
I'm writing it.
It's
I'm
a thing
writing
right
it down.
now.
Oh, it's. Oh,
I'm gonna do
oh,
it.
Oh, oh, I'm so doing that.
Okay.
I'm gonna
And
get my
Annette's got,
whole
Annette, what
fucking
about
county
yours?
doing it.
I
You
put
gotta
mine
put
up
up your-
already.
Oh, you
I
did?
Yeah,
Here
you
it
guys were
is.
talking. So I'm Annette Anderson on Facebook, and then Annette the Peacemaker at Yang Mentum. Feel the Yang Mentum, everybody.
So we wanted to make
so-
we want to try to remember to make an appeal for people to just messenger some money to Annette Anderson. If you do send her money through Messenger, you can get getting her some good equipment to work to do this in a more helpful way for everybody.
I'm gradually
No,
just
no.
I'm gonna turn this into a business somehow, or not somehow. I just signed up. So I used to be a wellness advocate for doTERRA essential oils, and I just signed back up with my former team leader, Nancy, who is also my friend. And she is older than me, and she has a hard time with technology. So I'm going to teach her how to do this. And we used to both live in Missoula, Montana, and now we both are in Arizona, ironically enough, but not close enough that we can see each other very easily. So I'm going to teach her how to do this. And we used to do essential oils workshops I used to own a beauty salon. So we used to do workshops there at the salon, and it was just fantastic. So I just
perfect
re-signed
moment.
up for that. Yeah,
This is the
all
moment
sorts of-
when you can bring your technical skills in and do the all of the traditional sales and stuff. We got to do it online for a minute. We can still
Everything's
mail
online.
things to people. Yeah.
yeah.
And diddly do. We've been going for a while, guys. I am going to peace out and go have my evening and hang out with
too.
my doggies and smoke a cigarette. But thank you very much for
Goodbye.
having me. You can.
Thank you for joining us.
Oh, of course. It was my pleasure.
Yes, definitely.
Everything's on mindwave.media, but I am on Twitter. I don't use it as much, at Mindwave Podcast or at Mindwave Jenner. Everything is streamlined. So Mindwave Podcast or Jenner. On any platform. If you go to youtube.com/Mindwave Podcast, there's our YouTube channel. If you go mindwavepodcast@gmail.com, that'll get to us. Everything is Mindwave Podcast. One word.
What are the
Everything.
other
Everywhere.
formats that you're doing? I know that the Humanity First is ending right now, and you are starting this Circle of Light or something like that.
Oh boy. Oh, do we have time to go into that?
No,
it's up to
we all
you.
just
Light
said
of
goodbye.
light of morning. I know
Oh,
I'm
we have to
already
think about
piecing it. Okay.
She's kidding. She's kidding.
Okay. No. Wait.
Finish.
Okay.
Go ahead and finish. That's fine.
Are you guys hanging out for a minute?
Yeah.
Go ahead and
Yes.
finish.
Okay. If you let me get another monster and smoke half of a cigarette, I will come back and tell you about this beautiful project. It's fucking amazing. Light of Morning and the Circle of Light are fucking amazing. And I'm so excited about those. And I'm so glad that you asked me about them. But can I take 5? See, this is also why I like to pre-record podcasts, because I'm like, hey, y'all want to take a potty break? And everybody's like, fuck yeah, I want to take a potty break. Hard to do in live streams. So
Well, I don't see why we can't. It's up to Annette. I'm okay. I can just wait, and I always have something to talk about for 5 minutes while on. It's no problem for me.
I mean, it's kind of it's not even.
Here, check this out. I
Great
want to
to,
watch
like,
this. Hey,
explain.
let's watch this little interview with Yang.
Jenner, go do your
Okay.
thing, and me and Annette are going to hold it down while you're gone. Go.
Okay,
Go
and
do
then
your
I'll fill
work
you
and
guys
I'll
in on Light of Morning and the Circle of Light, and I'll fill you guys in on that. before I peace out, but I'm just gonna I'm gonna dip out for a minute and get a beverage and a smoky, and then I'll be back. I'm gonna take myself out, but I'm still here. I'm gonna bring myself back in. We will be right back on the Mighty Mighty podcast on YGRL.
All right.
All right. So we could just watch a video. I just pulled up YouTube, and this is what showed up. This is Zach and Matt. This is a short little interview. Or we could learn how to make a hairband. Or
Let's watch
face
Zach
mask.
and Matt. I
Okay.
love Zach and Matt. I think everybody's usually pretty excited to see whatever new thing they put in. I have no idea how they are able to get all the best programs on there and nobody shuts them down. How do they do it?
I don't know.
And the number of infected cases is leveling off.
Zach and Matt? This is something else, I think. Oops, I can't hear you. The sound is off.
Asian Americans for something they had nothing to do with.
Yeah.
A man in Midland, Ohio is accused of brutally attacking 3 members of the same Asian family.
Oh,
One
no.
of them, as they were out shopping. They survived the attack, but the scars and terror will never leave. Andrew Yang has been off the national stage since he ended his 2020 presidential bid, but he is using his voice to sound the alarm about these disturbing cases against Asian Americans. And Andrew joins us now from Cyber Hall. Andrew, of course, I want to first start off with the most important people in your home, your kids. I want to talk about how they're doing now that you are home. You have a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old, and I think it's really special. You have Christopher has autism, and so many parents right now are spending more time with their children, especially the kids with special needs. What's your advice? What are your words of wisdom?
Well, I've been on the road for the last couple of years, and so I'm just so grateful to my wife, Evelyn, who's been the rock of our family. She's been the CEO of Team Christopher, which is the name of our 7-year-old, and he is getting homeschooled, but obviously screens and online are not the same as in person. And so we're doing everything we can to surround him and his brother with enough to do. I will confess that to the extent we had any screen time limits in our house, they've kind of gone out the window because of this point in time.
You're like, here, watch whatever you want to watch. How is that since you've been on the road campaigning and working before campaigning away from home? How is it to be there, even during this crisis, to have this kind of time?
Oh, Evelyn and I were talking about it just last night, where this is in some ways a real special time because you bond with your family more so than usual. We actually are sleeping with them all in the same room, because like the little boys wanted to sleep with mommy. And so it's been really cozy in some really positive ways. And for me personally, it feels like I'm making up for lost time because I've been on the road for the last couple of years. So I'm learning a lot about my kids. And I think, Tamron, when you learn about your kids, you kind of also learn about yourself.
Absolutely. You know what? We are learning so much about ourselves during this crisis, for good and for bad. And one of those things you wrote a very personal op-ed about, the number of acts of hate and acts of violence directed toward Asian Americans in this country since this pandemic. I remember, Andrew, right before we were off air, when we were still in our studio, and we talked about how cab drivers no longer wanted to stop in Chinatown to pick up customers because they feared they would get the virus. That behavior only escalated, and it's turned into acts of violence now. You were personally impacted by this.
I think every Asian American has been personally impacted, at least in some way, because the fear and the racism, frankly, has just surged where Asian Americans are concerned. We have now over 1,000 assaults that have been reported. And you know that for everyone that's been reported, there are many others that we'll never hear about. So it's a really tough time for all Americans, but I will say that I think Asian Americans have an extra phenomenon tied in where not only are we trying trapped at homes, but when we do go out for groceries, people in some ways blame us for the virus, which obviously is completely wrong and just a ridiculous idea.
There was a moment that pushed you to the edge. What was that moment that pushed you to write that op-ed?
I was on the phone with the CEO of the crisis text line, and she told me that the proportion of Asian Americans that use the crisis text line surged from 5%, which is normal, about what we are as in terms of the American population, to 13% post-crisis, which is a sign just of how much anxiety and fear there is in the Asian American community. So that was one thing that spurred me to write the op-ed. The other was going to the grocery store and having people cast accusatory looks in my direction. And I will say that wearing a mask, in my case, it makes me all the more anonymous because, now, frankly, like some people recognize me just walking around, but if you have a mask on, then they obviously don't. So I felt the...
I would recognize you, Andrew. I'm not racist.
Or the fear or the anxiety on the part of others just walking to a grocery store.
It's so true. I was thinking about what you wrote, your experience from hearing from people here in the States. But then in China, there are reports, the Washington Post and others is storing the numbers of cases of violence directed against Africans in China, all based on fear and ignorance. What is so, I think, worrisome for me, Andrew, as a mother, and you are a father, what will we tell our children about this? About, to your earlier point, who we are in these incidents?
In a time of crisis, your true character gets revealed, and the challenge for us is to make it so that positive things are revealed and that we're able to come together, help each other, not give in to fear, racism, and hatred. And it's a worldwide phenomenon. Unfortunately, when you feel like your future is insecure, then some negative impulses come to the fore very quickly, and that's what we have to try and overcome together.
One of the things you said in your op-ed, you talked about, speaking of who we are, you said we Asian Americans need to embrace and show our Americanness in ways we never have heard. I'm sure you saw some of the response to that. It even gave me pause because I thought, here are two brown people talking to each other. We've reached a certain level in our lives. We are American. That is not defined by the food in our pantry. That's not defined by anything other than our heart and our service to each other. What did you mean by that, and why was it read so wrong, you think?
To me, this is a time when all Americans need to try and help each other. And that, to me, means volunteering, funding aid organizations, voting when the time comes. Hopefully we'll all be able to do that. That was the purpose of the op-ed, is to say that all Americans have to do everything we can for each other. And that includes Asian Americans, that includes all of us.
Yeah, and you have the Yang Gang, we have the Tan Fam, and I love how you activated the Yang Gang to help out in some of the work that you want to see, some of the service work that you plan on activating it and using to get us on the other side of this.
Now, I've been so thrilled that we can at least help other people in this time. I mean, it's a very, very dark time for the country, but we've already distributed $1.3 million to working families around the country, $1 million of it directly to people in the Bronx. And so the goal is to try and help people through this crisis. We bought face masks for Detroit that are on their way there right now. We're doing all we can because we know that if you can help right now, you really should. Like if you have that capacity, then you need to do everything you can. And one of the things I say when I talk about our organization's efforts, Humanity Forward, you don't need to give us money so we give it to other people. You can just give people money directly. Like we all have someone in our lives that you know that they're struggling.
That's so true. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, like skip the middleman. Just go straight to that person that you know is struggling right now.
Well, wishing you the best. Give your wife and your children a big hug, a virtual one from me to you. Thank you for all you're doing. We hope to talk to you very soon.
Yeah, would love that, Tamron. Stay safe.
You too. Thank you.
Put the money in our hands. Put the money in our hands. Put the money in our hands.
I can never get tired of that ending. Their
Hold on, let me pause it.
But the one thing that I just wish Andrew would say is stop saying the word Americans, like there's such a thing. I just want him to lean into the fact that they're all humans, you know, and
Yes.
there's no such, it's like,
Yep.
are you an American or are you not an American? I don't care. You're a human being right now. You're going to be affected, you know, and I think that's where he really
humanity
needs to.
first.
Exactly.
Good.
So did you guys want to hear about what I've been up to since moving on or trying to?
Yes, you have
Because
20 minutes.
I don't know if I'll need that much. So
Okay.
Annette, when I met you and you came on the show, you were episode number 2. It was very bright and hopeful future. Everything was bright and sunshiny day. It was all glory on the horizon. Let's climb the mountain together. It's a beautiful time. And then by the time I got Faye on, which was after Andrew dropped out, and the light had just totally dropped out of the whole thing, and it kind of is just like hopeless, sad, angry, drunk. The series took a very different turn. But Humanity First was always my favorite part of the show because it got to the real human part. And the voicemails were the perfect fucking encapsulation of this because both of you guys are fucking voicemail people. You both called in and left voicemails for the show. They went into the Voices series, which went out and exploded. The Voices series was an amazing thing. People left voicemails. I put them with stock footage and music, and it made people cry their eyeballs all the way out. So I'm like, okay, how do I bring that back in a way? So I kind of took the Voices idea from the Humanity First series and I mated it, or I melded it with my philosophy series, which was called Candle in the Dark because it's very much like we're all born cold and naked, alone in the world. All we have is our tiny candle to illuminate the way. And we feel alone, but when we come together, the lights of our candles create a larger light. We illuminate more. We can see the path, lead together. This was the idea for my philosophy series, which it never really took off, but it needed to happen. So what I'm doing is I started a new project called Light of Morning. Now, Light of Morning is partially inspired or mostly inspired by the Church of Reason by Corey Cottrell from the Moving Forward podcast. He created this thing in Minecraft, which is just a place for people to come and share their messages of gratitude, which is going off of his Coffee Live thing. He does this every morning. He gets on a live stream, and it just encourages people to share messages of gratitude in the comments. And this is his way of live streaming. And I think gratitude practice is phenomenally and spiritually super, like, this is a great thing. This is like why people go to church, is to feel the light, so to speak. And me personally, I am a lifelong atheist, as it were. I'm not a believer in any sort of way, but right now, people need the light more than ever. So Light of Morning is kind of about rejuvenation and rebirth and kind of illumination and reflection and meditation and philosophy and just grounding and just kind of bringing everybody to a kind of universal, kind of secular, kind of interfaith, kind of everything place for people to go on Sundays. And this is starting as a YouTube exclusive thing that is 3 storytellers. Every video that I put together is going to feature 3 storytellers. And they can tell their story however they want, in spoken word, put it in a rap, just do an interpretive dance, do an art piece, write a music piece, whatever. So I take these three artists, these 3 contributors, these 3 storytellers, and I pull them together into a larger thing and present that as a YouTube special, as a kind of half an hour long sort of church that people could go to kind of like feel this thing. The first one launched on Easter Sunday, It was fucking amazing. If you have not seen Light of Morning yet, give yourself like half an hour to shut all the way down. Like if morning is perfect. If you have a cup of coffee, go grab a cup of coffee, put on some headphones, zone into this thing. Beautiful. Light of Morning is beautiful, but the Circle of Light is actually what I'm calling the group of storytellers who are making this thing happen. And the Circle of Light is going to become its own podcast series to where I then get to pull those people onto the show and have long form conversations with them about their inspiration, whatever, wherever it's coming from. So the first one of the storytellers was Corey Cottrell himself as a guitarist. He told his story through his fingers and strings, and it was beautiful. The second was Jesse Rogers from the Resurgent Us podcast. He talked about Stoic philosophy and the importance of reaching out and being there for each other. And then the third was Boon Hem, who talked about a Chinese proverb or something. The broken pot. I forget exactly.
The cracked pot.
The cracked pot. Yes, thank you.
I loved that piece. I listened to it very carefully.
God, beautiful. So that's the introduction to what this is going to be. Every time is going to be different. They're going to come out on Sundays. I cannot do this every week. That was way too much work. So we're thinking one a month, like the first Sunday of the month, we're going to drop one of these kind of sermons of light, if you will, on Mindwave on the YouTube channel. And then the conversations are going to continue in long form into the earballs this way on the podcast as a Circle of Light to kind of like they're gonna be symbiotic and evolve together, and it's gonna be fucking beautiful, man. Oh,
okay.
gorgeous.
Now, how would you say does this relate to the Yang Gang still, or is this just moving off in a new direction?
It's the same thing. It's the same movement, the same humanity first is just getting bigger. It only ever got bigger after Andrew Yang's official presidential campaign ended. It only got bigger from there, and now it has to become.
That's what we have discovered here.
Even
fan base
bigger.
is still growing.
Yeah.
Yang Gang Report Live. I think we're still growing. More people are watching than ever before, which is strange, and but wonderful. And now that they've shut down the base camp on Facebook, we're kind of like, hey, come on over here, you guys. You know, they didn't even say anything to us when they shut it down. Just like
they shut down the base camp. Oh my god.
Yeah, there's like 50,000 people in there who are like friends, right? And we're like, we didn't even say goodbye, and now they're just like not there. So come, if you know friends who are looking for,
come on over to YGRL, come over to Mindwave, motherfuckers.
And we can still love each other over here.
Fan base. There's also public fan base.
Public fan base, yeah.
Yeah, but it's been kind of infiltrated a little bit by people. People are not making it Yang related. I'm an admin for that group as well, and have been since pretty much the beginning almost.
Well, and, our page is an admin,
so
everybody is now an admin, sort of.
Yeah. We all do all sorts of administration. I'm an admin or moderator on, I don't even know. I could not even tell you how many Yang groups or pages I'm an admin or moderator for. I have no idea.
I need to dip out of all of them. I'm in like 14 dozen. It's too much. That's why I'm like, hey, motherfuckers, come to Mindwave. Come to one place. Or go to like the Humanity Forward ones. Go to the big ones. We have to consolidate in one fucking place. All these little like teeny tiny Tinkertown and buttfuck nowhere for Andrew Yang. I'm sorry. I joined your group a while ago. There's nothing happening in there. I'm going to the bigger one. You should come with me. So I'm trying to make my come with me thing. Like the end of Andrew's book. Climbing the mountain, seeing what's on the other side. Hey, come with me over here because I'm leaving all those pages and groups, every last one of them.
But I want to say,
Ugh.
to people to please be patient with each other because
Yeah.
we are growing and we have a lot of people who are new and don't know any of us. Like they don't know any of the people like Alyssa Monet, like, think of her name for a minute before, beautiful dancer from Nevada. And I mean,
Alyssa,
I don't know all of the
Alyssa
people,
Monet
Erica
Mason.
Simone.
Oh, you
Pardon
guys.
me?
Alyssa Monet Mason. You guys.
I got the name wrong.
No. She's amazing. She's amazing. She's
Right.
supposed to come on for Light of Morning as one of the storytellers, and her story is going to be dance. And I wanted her to do it. I wanted her to do it to the music on the beach as the sun's coming up. Because how beautiful would that be? But they closed all the beaches down in California, and she can't go to the beach.
Oh. Well, okay.
Yeah.
Well, she'll find a different way, I'm sure, because she's very creative. And so, and she'll never stop. You just can't stop her.
No, it's great. Yeah, so she's
so much
in the
positive
circle
energy.
of light. I love her. Love her.
But
God,
what I mean
you
is
get
we
like
kind
my
of,
sisters,
you know,
just like my coven, y'all three.
yeah. So we've got a bunch of people who kind of each other after, many months of activities together and watching each other on these different groups and podcasts and whatever. But then there's a lot of people coming in who are new, and Scott Santon's actually also picked up on that. The fact that a lot of people are being activated now that Yang is on CNN, which is completely different. Now that we are reaching people who are just thinking about UBI because of the emergency stimulus, we have to be patient with them and start all over again. We're starting at, basics, like from people who don't know us. We're expecting people to know us and they don't. We're expecting people to know what UBI is and they don't. And so it's like a lot of times you'll talk to people and you realize that they're very low information, but they're here. So just treasure the fact that we've got more people and that we're growing, and be patient, start all over again. We got to start at stage 1 of Yang again and go through that whole 7 stages with all these new people. Yes. And that's just how it is.
Well,
if you're going to
for me, I've got at least 6,000 graphics and images saved in my phone. I have more pictures of Yang and like infographics than I have pictures of my granddaughter. It's terrible. I'm a terrible Mimi, but it's true. So all that information is still stored in my phone. So if we have to start over, because we're going to hear all
we might have to start all over.
It's this is what I was saying though, because like the journey of my Humanity First series, our Humanity First series from Annette to you, Faye, was kind of traumatic towards the end, and I'm like, well, on some sense this feels like an end, but on some sense it feels like a new beginning, and this is very much in the spirit of Light of Morning, which is just like this is the way forward now. So like the Humanity First series
thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The circle is coming back.
Here's how I think.
I love it.
I think that the universe placed Yang in place, placed him there. He's always been on the peripheral, right? We just weren't. It was an awakening for us. He was there to wake us up and see that there was a new way forward and stuff like that, right? So, and then, and we were all meant to all come together to be right here, right now, this very second. And none of this would be happening at all, if it weren't for Andrew Yang running for president.
Now we might not have, personally activated, but this must be how Scott Santons feels. He's been doing this for years and years prior to Andrew showing up. There's a lot of UBI advocates out there who've already been saying all these things that Andrew says. Practically everything that Andrew has brought up is something that you could listen to a TED Talk that was prior to Andrew, or you could, there's lots of different experts out there who've been saying many of the things he said, but just not in his cohesive package, the way that he put it together. And so, of course, nobody ran for president, so it didn't get that national attention. And so I think
Right. Like,
it must be the same way they feel, like, oh, you don't know us, but you all want to know about UBI now. And we have to go through this over and over again as we want to grow this whole movement 10 times where we were before. If we were less than 5%, that's what we were polling at in some of these things, we can grow to more than, we want to grow to 50% if we can, right? And we're already looking at a majority of people on both sides of the aisle now being pretty, being positive towards the UBI. And so we've just got to keep being welcoming to now the Bernie Bros. I'm trying to figure out how do we get a unity edition of our show, bringing in somebody on the Bernie camp, because we've been welcoming Trumpers, all right, but we are not good at welcoming the Bernie people right now. We got to get on that. Go ahead.
I have a friend, Anita, and she is my favorite Berner. I won't call her a Bernie bro because Bernie bros are different. She's a Berner. She's a Bernie supporter. She's a Berner. And she is kind and respectful, and she doesn't shame people, and we can disagree and not be mad at each other. Right? Like, I respect her position about Bernie. She is justified. So I'm going to ask her if she would be willing. She does live streaming on Twitch, so I bet she would be comfortable with it.
Yeah, that's great.
So I might ask her if she.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'd be great.
What did you have to say, Jenna? Did you think of something too?
Well, it's all in the framing here. The framing is very important. This is why I grasped onto the Humanity First movement as a thing, because that's its own thing. And Andrew is just a character in it. He's not the thing. So much of my personal problem with politics, and many people's personal problems with politics, is that it is a personality contest. As far as I'm concerned, I fucking love Andrew, but this was never about him. You guys, this was never about Andrew. He was just saying the right shit at the right time. Our vision is bigger. Like, he lit the way for us. Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. And we owe him a debt of gratitude. But by no means should we feel like this is his thing that we have to continue on behalf of him. This is not about Andrew Yang. And
no. That's not what I meant. That's not quite what I meant.
That
though,
wasn't
but
that. Not for you, Annette. I'm saying to the general audience who might not. In terms of how we frame this as like, come on to our Andrew Yang podcast. There was a reason that I never called it like a Yang series on the show. It was always about the humanity part. It was always about that. And it's always in the framing. It's always in the framing of the door in which you invite people in. So especially if it's attached to a personality, especially Bernie people are going to have a difficult time if it's.
Well, a lot of new people coming in, they don't have that sense that we do, that he was lifted up on our shoulders for the past year that we've been interested in Andrew Yang and trying to help him make his platform. Without us, he would not have this platform. And the old OG Yang Gang, right, know this. We know what we did throughout this whole past year to get him where he is. And so we have a sense of sort of, we're part of this group, and we have lifted him up on our shoulders. And so it belongs to us also. And that's really the feeling that we need for the entire country or for the world, is that all of us created our country together, and we are all shareholders together, and we all have an equal stake in our country and then in our world, at large. And so that's something that I think that Andrew would agree with. But a lot of new people coming in don't realize that. They kind of just feel like, oh, Andrew,
they think it's a personality contest. And they're wrong. And that this is the next thing that I was going to say is I'm pretty sure Andrew would agree with me. Which getting into philosophy real quick before I dip out, because we've been going for over 2 hours. Dipping into philosophy just a toe for a second. This was Jesus's message, and I'm not a Christian, but I'm saying that this is relevant here because in the Gospel of Thomas, Jesus was very much like, the light is inside of you. We are all God's children. It's but in Gospel of Thomas, like all the other disciples are like, oh Jesus, and Thomas goes like, "Oh, you're so amazing. I don't know what to say about you, master." And Jesus turns around and he's like, "I am not your master. Let's get that straight. I am not your master. Come away with me to a room. I'm going to tell you some shit. I'm going to tell you 3 things, and one of these things is going to make everybody fucking hate you if you tell them like that thing." And it's because it was never about him. Jesus was not like, and just in terms of biblical theology, I think this is a fascinating tie-in to the whole philosophy conversation, because Andrew's rise to power is kind of like an intellectual, philosophical kind of thing happening in America, which it hasn't really happened in a really long time, if not ever before. So it is kind of that, like, anybody who ever thought that this was like, yay, we like Andrew Yang, it's like, yes, we love him, but that's like, this isn't like, that's not the ship that we're sailing on through the oceans of time. He was on it. He was captain for a minute. That's your opportunity to be captain, motherfucker, because it's one big boat. We're all on one big motherfucking boat, every last one of us, and we all got to poop in a bucket and throw it over the side, just like everybody else. This was not Andrew's thing.
I want
this
you
is
to
our
ring that
thing.
bell for me.
Dang, motherfuckers. That's Jenner. That's Mindwave. I think I just about... for everybody who's been seeing me swig this the whole night and go like, oh my god, how is he not dead? Little sips, guys. It's scotch. I just don't have it. It's not even scotch. It's Irish whiskey, because they didn't have scotch at the 7-Eleven. It's just a fucking Irish whiskey. I don't like Irish whiskey. I like scotch, but it's fine. It's fine. It's great. But really, guys, like, thank you so much for having me. This was super entertaining. I wish that bits and pieces of it would go out on Mindwave, but I don't have the energy to edit that. But for everyone who is watching, thank you very much. And for commenting, James Lee Stewart Jr., shout out. I did not have the live comments running during the whole thing, so I didn't see that. I'm only seeing them now. But thanks, James. Cheers, motherfucker. Ladies, Annette, Faye, fantastic. And expect to hear from me soon, because we're gonna do something special for the series / possible series finale, season series. I don't know what's happening with Humanity First, but whatever I'm doing for the finale, both of you are going to be there. Obviously, everybody's going to be there. It's going to be a whole thing. It's going to be great. But yes, cheers.
Okay, well, good night to everyone. Goodbye. Thank you for joining us. I hope there was something in there.
Mindwave.media, give me $5.
All right.
I love you guys.
Bye.
We'll see you.
Thanks again, Annette. Oh, the claw. The claw.
All right. Bye, guys.